Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. So, I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about Kim Porter's children. Unless you're, sleep under a rock on vacation somewhere, living your best life on excursions, um, then you probably heard about the ongoing Diddy saga, right? All of the allegations against him regarding human trafficking, um, forced labor, which is a type of human trafficking. Um, what else is going on? I'm trying to do 14 things at the same time. Um, what is happening? I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to do something. And it's not wanting to work on this side of the universe for me, but that's okay. I'm down but not out, sis. Okay. Don't count your sis out. Your good sis out. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, unless you're under a rock somewhere or having a really good time on your vacation, spending time with your family, things like that. Information about Diddy is literally everywhere and it is seeping into everything. And I'm so happy that is going on because that man needs to be brought before justice. Happy he went to jail. Well, let me start off with this. I always have to say this. Trigger warning, because any of this information that I may say today on Chanel's reality could trigger you. If you have lived on this earth, all of us have experienced something that might trigger us. So I'm gonna put that out there too. I always like to give this information too, just in case, because you never know who's watching and who might be in crisis. So if you are in crisis and you feel like you need someone to talk to, and crisis is defined by whatever you feel like you're going through in your life. It is not a one size fits all, but you can dial 988 from any phone or you can text 988 from any phone in the country. They are available to talk to you and listen to you 24/7, 365. I always want to say that. And then I also want to say everything on Chanel's reality is alleged. It is all in my opinion and it is for entertainment purposes only. But back to what I was saying about, what's going on with Diddy. My personal opinion is he's right where he needs to be right now, and he should have been there 30 years ago. And it's really sad because we don't know when it's going to end, but it's interesting how things are playing out, in my opinion, because all of Hollywood, as far as I can tell, have muted themselves, which says either they took part knowingly or unknowingly. And if it was knowingly, they don't want to be drug into the middle of this disaster that's happening in Diddy's world because it I promise you would be like a tidal wave taking over their lives as well. But I want everybody that's done something wrong and enable this man for all these years to be drug out into the light just like he was. That's me on my soapbox here on Chanel's reality. If you can't hit all my like buttons, if you like the content that you're viewing, hit all my little buttons, my likes, my subscribe, and the notifications. So let's just get right into it. I just want to talk really quickly about Kim Porter's children. Kim Porter passed away. I believe she was 48 years old. I think in 2018, from apparently, allegedly, from some sort of complications with um, pneumonia. That's what allegedly happened, but you can't really, in my opinion, I don't trust it. I won't say you guys can't, but I don't trust it because of all of the other people that Diddy's had any type of involvement with that have come up missing, and they all seem to die in some bizarre way. Anyways, um, the children in all of this, I know I've been hearing people say, for weeks now, I feel bad for the kids, and he has kids and we need to be responsible about what we say because he still has kids. And on some level, I agree with that. I'm of two minds though, because if you've been on Chanel's reality before or you've listened to my videos, you know that I'm a social worker and I'm a therapist. And so therefore I spend my life trying to help people. I don't always get it right, but that's what my life's work has always been. And I've worked for a good deal of really all of my adult hood in helping in the helping system, helping others. So I say that to say this: I've seen all kinds of everything, any type of sex crimes there is. I've witnessed it and or dealt with those who were impacted by it. So I say that to say this: yes, it's unfortunate that his kids will get some backlash on what's going on with him. It's not fair because except for the ones that are also being allegedly sued for other things, like things that are similar to what their father is being sued for. So let me just say that. But not all of them. And particularly the ones that are under the age of 18. I think his daughters, the twins, are 16, I believe. And then I think he has like a 2-year-old somewhere. I feel the worst for them because A, they're girls. And then B, what type of relationship could you ever have with a man and the world is saying this is who your father is and how he's treated women, and not only him, but all of the other, people that were around him that watched or knew and said nothing, did nothing for whatever the reasons are that they did nothing. But the men and others that did participate in that, how do you ever trust the man? I don't see how you could, because your parents are supposed to be your first role models. And for some of those children, their mom is gone. You need your mom. I just think, especially girls, I think they need their moms. But anyways, so that's one part of it. And the other part is you can't even get advice from your dad about how to deal with men. I feel like if I was their daughters, your perspective on how to trust the man, what to do with like it just would be so ambiguous and confusing. So that's one part of it. The other part is there's nothing you can do about it. I just hope that they get, in counseling with some people and get the right people around them. So anyways, they posted, I guess they got together as a family. The kids, I don't know how many of them got together as a family. And I think Quincy posted this on. Quincy is Kim Porter's son, who my understanding, had with Al B. Shore, who was, I think Al B. Shore is a singer. I feel like I know him. I grew up in the 80s, and I know I heard that. I know who he is, meaning I know that he was a celebrity in the entertainment industry, but he was he came out before I was little in the 80s. Um, so Quincy is the one that I think posted this on his Instagram or on his social media. So it says, "We've seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we need to speak out. That we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called quote friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interest at heart. Our lives were shattered when we lost our mother. She was our world, and nothing has been the same since she passed. While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could have been taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, And we ask that everyone respect our requests for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, mommy. Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah. So I'm glad I read this with you guys while I was live because all kinds of things are going on in my head as I'm reading this. Listen, these children, and when I say children, I mean they are offspring of their parents. Not, I mean, they're little bitty kids, right? I do think they probably did want to put out a statement. And I do think that there are some things in this statement that they either said or inferred or believe. I do believe that, especially the parts about, we miss our mom and she was our world. But I'm going to say, I don't listen. Buckle up. This is my reality. Like I said, it's Chanel. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. This was not written by them. I know better. I know better. This was written by they may have drafted some information, but what this looks like to me is we had a conversation, maybe not even in person, or we've been having conversations since last year when the lawsuit filed by Cassie came out, right? I do 100% believe that they've had conversations even before the Cassie lawsuit when their mom passed. People, because I didn't know about Kim Porter until I really honestly started doing some digging. I knew he had, Diddy had baby mamas, but I didn't know who was who, right? So whenever their mom passed, I 100% believe, 1,000% believe that is a loss you will never recover from. You don't, in my opinion, you don't recover from your parents passing and you don't recover from your children passing. I just don't think there's a recovery for it. I think you learn to live with it and cope with it, but you will always be triggered by whatever, because even, people that or you're close to, you might smell your mom's perfume or your dad's cologne, or they're just things about your parents or people that you love. Same thing with your children. A song that you'll hear on the radio or whatever, a specific way someone smiled, or one of your children loves sunflowers. All of these things can be triggering once those people are no longer around. But my point is this: I think that they've had conversations over the years about what happened to their mom, meaning other people have speculated and they probably weren't exactly sure either. Because who wants to, realistically, when you think about it, who really wants to think to themselves or even imagine that, my mom is gone way too soon. Everybody needs their mom. She's gone way too soon. She's gone very suddenly, because it wasn't as if, from what I understand, it wasn't as if Kim Porter was sick for months, right? My mom passed. She passed years and years ago from cancer. And she also had some lung problems before that. That's kind of what kicked it all off. But it was years before she actually passed away. That's very different from, and my mom, like I said, she wasn't healthy when she passed. She passed ultimately of cancer, but it was years and years of she had lung problems where she had to take breathing treatments literally all day almost. Um, and that, and then again, one thing happens, one thing leads to another, and someone is gone. This lady, Kim Porter, from what I can tell, was the picture of health until she wasn't. And that's just weird. And I'm not gonna say that, it's impossible for somebody who seems, who seems to be the picture of health to suddenly, pass away from a heart attack or whatever. That does happen. But people don't typically die or pass away from pneumonia when they live in a country that has a pretty decent healthcare system, and people who have access and money certainly shouldn't be passing away if they're healthy from complications with pneumonia in their 40s. That shouldn't happen. If you're a healthy, vibrant, who Kim Porter seemed to be, there's no reason for that lady to have left at that time, right? So to me, there's something suspicious about that. But back to what I was saying about the children. I can't imagine, what they are going through right now, because if they are to if any modicum of their brain is trying to process something, how do you process people on the internet that don't know you, don't know your family, don't know anything about you, you've never seen them before, they've never seen you, saying that your dad unalived your mom, even if you thought your dad was a bad person, that is not something that you can really reconcile with your soul, especially when people start putting the pieces to the puzzle together and it doesn't fit. Because meaning it doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. I always say if something don't add up, it's a lie somewhere. So if you're just joining us, I'm talking about Kim Porter's children and the post that I think Quincy, Kim Porter's son, that she had with Al B. Shore, posted on his Instagram or on his social media. I'll just say that. I was reading it, and I'm just going to give you my opinion, and that's all it is. But when I was reading it, I knew 100% sure her children didn't write this, not in my opinion. This is one of those things, in my opinion, that is inspired by. You know how they make a movie and they say based on a true story, and then they have other movies that sound like that, but no, it'll say, you know, this is based on, I mean, not based on, but inspired by. So that means somebody watched somebody else's life or some other situation happened at some point, and we're going to make a movie about it, but not all of it is true, but it's inspired by these other events. That's what this post, this plea for leave us alone and let our family heal document that I'm reading, or message, that's what I get from this. This seems like a professional wrote this, meaning like an attorney. Someone who's a professional, or not even an attorney. It could be like maybe a publicist or something like that. This does not ring like these children got together and they were just like, we're tired of it. Because let's be clear, their mom passed away in 2018, I believe. It's 2024. And maybe they have. I have not seen any other post that is so poignant about what they need time to heal and this, that, and the third. And they do. This is tragic. And I think that people should leave them alone. I don't agree with any of that. I think anytime anyone passes away, or even, it doesn't even have to be that. Whatever your crisis is or your trauma is, it's your crisis and your trauma. And you have the right to deal with it however you deal with it. And as long as it's not against the law and you're not harming others, right? But you do whatever you want. Like, do your thing. That's how I roll. But this doesn't feel like something that they wrote. It feels like it's inspired by. It feels like, hey guys, we're gonna put out a press release about this, so that this is, if I'm being 100% honest, this is what I think. And I hate to say it this way, but this is what this gives me. A few days ago, we heard Diddy's attorney, after he was unable to successfully get him out of jail and get him, get the judge to approve bail. They have been, to me, trying their hardest to hope that they can, poke at the American people, or all of the people who watching this craziness go down. They're hoping to poke a hole in your heart and and touch your empathy meter, and hoping that there are a group of people out there, or enough people out there in the world, that will empathize with him, and then maybe it will have some sort of impact on the public opinion about what's going on with Sean Diddy Combs. That's why they came outside of the courtroom, his attorney, and said something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, um, Mr. Combs was the reason that incident happened in the hallway in the hotel is because Cassie, basically stole his clothes or stole his items. That's why that happened in the hallway. Trying to justify it, but there's no justification for it. But they're doing damage control. They're trying to make people they this is Jedi mind tricking, in my opinion, if you're not very cerebral. They're trying to paint a picture. They don't want the picture that they're painting to tell the audience that this man is wrong for any of those things, or he's responsible for any of the things he's been accused of. And as their attorney, that's exactly what they're supposed to do, but it's false. Then I saw Ray J on, I think it was News Nation the other day. If you haven't seen that video, go watch my other video with Chris Cuomo. And he, I promise y'all, seemed like a Stepford wife. I don't know if you've ever seen those movies, but it's like a Stepford wife, or a Manchurian Candidate. It's almost like this person was real, but you know how they'll say people have body doubles, Elvis or whomever, right? Michael Jackson, people that you've seen in Vegas, they have body doubles. I don't believe that, but I get it. That's what Ray J looked like. And the reason I say that is because I don't understand why Ray J is on any news channel saying to the hip hop, quote unquote, the hip hop community, that this is not the time to point fingers. This is not the time to judge. Excuse me. He's being tried and he's been locked up for egregious acts, according to the Southern District of New York. It's 100% time to hold this against him. It's 100% time, 1,000% time for us to say, let's judge. 100%. I say this all the time. I say, be perfect before you judge me. And I certainly believe that. But I'm also an intelligent, educated Black woman. Okay. And you're not gonna be able to pull the wool over my eyes with this type of situation. I've worked in this industry. I've worked with victims of sex crimes. You're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. Listen, I know exactly how these animals operate. They're all from the same part of the zoo. I know exactly how they operate. They're manipulative. What did he say first when the lawsuit came out? Enough is enough. That's lying. People are trying to take down my character and da 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 da. And then we see you on videotape beating the brakes off of this young lady. But you said 5 seconds ago, it's all lies. Suddenly you stop it. So that's why I know that somebody has put a battery in Ray J's back. It was just the most bizarre thing. I was just like, who goes on TV to try and make what is happening to Diddy right now, a Black hip hop problem, as opposed to a Sean P. Diddy, Shitty Diddy Combs problem. This is a him problem. This isn't a problem with the Black community. This isn't a problem with everyone in hip hop. This is a problem with a madman. That's who this is a problem with. Stop trying to gaslight us, intelligent people that use both sides of our brains, like we're crazy, to think that we should, this is the time we need to kind of like make a plan to figure out how, next time we need to do it better. No, Diddy needs to make a plan for next time, if he gets the next time, to make it better. And all of the other people that assisted him in this malarkey and this savage behavior for 30 years. Go have that pretend gaslighting conversation, Ray J, with those people. Don't have it with intelligent, bright, smart, hardworking people out here in America, we don't have nothing to do with him. So don't bring this and try to make it seem like it's a black cultural, because he kept saying for the culture. This don't have nothing to do with our culture. Don't associate me with that dude and his culture. Period. He is not cut from the same cloth as me or anyone that I know. Not one person. So what we're not gonna do is play this game. Even Chris Cuomo, who's a whole white Jewish guy, I believe. I know he's white for sure, but even he was like, well, yeah, that's what every culture should do. It just was so. It was a whole gaslighting situation. But anyways, I'll get back to this plea from Kim Porter's children. So they go on to say that they say claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. So I can't say one way or another. I'm not Kim Porter. I never met the lady. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I did watch this lady, Sloan Bella. And the reason I bring her up, she's a medium or psychic medium or something like that. So she does these readings about people that some people are alive that she does it about, and some people are have passed on, right? And initially, when I started on her channel, I was giving her the side eye because, I don't know if you real. I do know that the Bible says that, there are psychics and, prophets and sorcerers and all these people, right? Mediums. So I 100% believe these people exist, 100%. And I do think people are gifted. And to me, I'm not a psychic. I'm not any of those things, but I liken it to, you can come into a room, right? You could be having fun with your family, right? Or at work. And then someone walk into the room and they have a terrible attitude. You can feel it. You can feel their spirit. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or it's just, to me, I feel like that's what it is for people who are mediums or psychics or whatever. I don't think it's like they're just sitting around knowing all kinds of information about everything that's going on in the world in the way that people think a psychic should work. I don't think it works that way. I think they get messages and communications. And listen, I don't want no messages or communications. I am doing just fine over here. I tell God, listen, I'm not, listen, I ain't made for that. That ain't my ministry. But Sloan Bella, if you ever get a chance to go check her out, she did 3 videos on Kim Porter way before that Cassie lawsuit came out. Literally, I feel like a year or so before Cassie's lawsuit was filed. That lady predicted it to almost to the day. I think she said when she was quote unquote channeling Kim Porter that something that Diddy's downfall would start in November. She said, I think she said November 16th or November 15th, whichever day she said, she was a day off. And she was a day off. And last November, Cassie filed that lawsuit. She also said in that same video, it gives me chills thinking about it. In that same exact video, when she said she was channeling Kim Porter, she said that Kim said that something is going to come up in March. She said this a year or so, I think almost 2 years, maybe a year before Cassie filed her lawsuit. So she was accurate about Cassie filing her lawsuit. That's when all of the shit started, right? Then she said something's going to come up in March. This is not over. That's what she kept saying in the video. And then guess who got raided in March? P. Diddy. 3 houses, I believe, or 2 homes that they raided all at the same time. And now that man's in jail. So the reason I bring that up is because this post that they put that I don't think they wrote, I think that they had a conversation with someone about what they wanted the message to be. And then someone else, like an attorney or someone, wrote that because it's just very telling to a person like me. But anyways, the reason I bring that up is because when I'm listening to this or when I'm reading this manuscript, I mean, not the manuscript, this post, there are so many things that are glaring out with me. So like I said, they're saying in here, claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Here's my problem with that statement. Again, I don't know Kim Porter. I don't know her kids. I don't know Diddy. I don't know them. I wasn't there. But what I will say is this. Parents, especially good parents, don't share everything with their children, even their grown children. So that's part 1. Part 2, in my opinion, and I can't say Sloan Bella, I was telling about the medium. I can't say, I don't know her. So I can't say with 100% accuracy, yeah, she was right about that. So she has to be right about this. I'm not that naive. But all I'm saying is she's 2-0. She ain't missed yet. So Sloan Bella said that there are 3 manuscripts. That's what she said. This was a year before, at least a year before Cassie filed her lawsuit. So she was right about Cassie's lawsuit. She was right about Diddy getting his home raided. She didn't use those words, but she said something is going to happen with his whole life in March. And it did. And his life has not been the same since. It's been seemingly almost daily things going on, people coming forward, right? Lawsuit after lawsuit. So I feel like Kim Porter's one of her friends or someone who claims that they were super close to her said that there is no manuscript. They said it so matter of factly, almost exactly like this post, that there is no manuscript. I was her best friend. We're her kids. There is no manuscript. And I'm not saying that I know better than her family or her friends or whomever these people are that are saying that's an impossibility. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is it's also very possible that there are manuscripts or diaries or some sort of written whatever that Kim may have had and may have given to someone. Because like I said, in the same reading that Sloan Bella said, Kim basically was telling her, yeah, no, I wrote it down and it's somewhere that she said she gave it to 3 different people. So maybe it's 3 different manuscripts, but I think people are getting caught up on the word manuscript. But they're getting caught up on that word because it sounds very formal, a manuscript. It sounds very formal, but it could be. I have diaries all around my house of things that I wrote down, things that I was going through when it was a good time, or things I was going through when it wasn't such a good time. Does everyone know about it? If I passed away tomorrow, would someone be able to definitively say, no, Chanel she never had anything? It's just like, can you really say that? No. Men cheat all the time, and there's times where their wives don't know that's what's happening. So someone coming and telling the wife, no, your husband did cheat, and the wife then going on social media and saying, I know for a fact that never happened. It's like, are you sure? Are you 100% positive? Unless you were around that person 24/7, how would you know? And even with your family, they're not around you 24/7. And like I said before, guys, I'm a therapist. And one thing I know for sure, for many people, it's so much easier for them to talk to a complete stranger about their deepest, darkest things than it is to talk a lot of times to people they know. Because people they know will judge them. Period. Even if they don't do it verbally, they will. We all pass judgment. But to a perfect stranger, doesn't matter. You don't know the people in my life. You're not going to be able to run back and tell it. That's why I say I know that people would prefer to do it that way. Some people, not everybody. So that being said, no, you're not gonna know. You can't say with 100% certainty. You can just say it is, to our knowledge, that is false. Now, I will say I agree with them with regard to, them saying these, conspiracy theories going on about our parents. I agree with that part because the internet, listen, they don't have no chill on the internet. They don't. And let's be clear, people go on the internet and say reckless, irresponsible ish all the time with no credibility. And other people are susceptible to listening to those people or reading what those people said. They have no credibility, no proof, and they say it with conviction as if everything that they're saying is law, like it's a fact. That's why people don't understand what news is, what journalism is, as opposed to commentary. There's a very big ass difference. But when you put commentators on Fox News or CNN or any news channel, pick one, and you position them like they're a journalist, people watching that show that are unaware think that these people have researched this and there's some proof of it. And the lines have been blurred. And so therefore, anybody with a microphone can get on the internet and an internet connection and claim they know something that they don't necessarily have to know or that isn't true. It could be categorically false. And people will run around on the internet and swear It's the Holy Bible. So my point is, I agree with them with that because you're tainting my mom's history. You don't know her. And other people will believe it. People will believe lies way before they believe the truth. You could come home tomorrow and you could come home to you. No, I won't even say tomorrow. You could legit go to law school, win the lottery, and have invented Google. And you come home and you go to your 20-year anniversary and say, guess what? I created Google. How many people do you think are really going to believe you? You could be Steve Jobs, not Steve Jobs, whoever the person was that created Google. You could be that person. I say Steve Jobs because Apple. He created Apple with the other guy. But you could have done that and people will not believe you. And it could be 100% truth. But if you come home and you tell them, well, I went to jail 3 times, and that could be a stone-faced lie. Guess what they're gonna go tell their husband or their wife? Yeah, I went to the reunion and so they went to prison and they got out. See what I'm saying? They'll believe that, they'll run tell that, but they ain't gonna run tell about how you're accomplished or how open 3, bakeries or whatever it is that you've aspired to be in your life. They're not gonna run and tell that. They're gonna run and tell the things that are salacious. It's just the society we live in loves to find fault. It just is what it is. And people are very susceptible. And I'm not a person who gets and just like rams the Bible down people's throat, but it does say somewhere in that Bible, it does say weaker but wiser. To me, the age that we living in is 100% that. They have access to everything, correct and true information and false information. And again, the lines are blurred. But back to their to this post that Quincy posted. I do believe, what is this, the third paragraph where it says our lives have been shattered when we lost our mother. I believe that whole paragraph. I believe everything that they're saying there. I do think that came from them, the children. But I would have to say the majority of this, I do not believe came directly from the children. Like, I'm not believing Quincy went home and wrote this at all. And I don't know Quincy, I wasn't there. So I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he is that smart. But it just, a lot of the words that are in this document or in this post were in the other post, the previous things that the other lady came out and said about it's 100% false and all this. I just don't know that we can say that. How do you know? I mean, from what we know about what P. Diddy allegedly was doing to Cassie, there was cameras everywhere. There was people harassing her. There were people watching her. And not only Cassie. If you read any of those lawsuits, those people went through hell. Every single person that's suing him, I believe them 100%. And no, I wasn't there. And it's innocent until proven guilty. But I believe them 100%. You know why? Like I said, I worked in sex crimes. I listen. I know that part of the zoo, and I know exactly how those animals work and how they act. I do. It just is what it is. That's just my life's work. I've worked with people that are the perpetrators, and I've worked with people who are the victims. And I know that the perpetrators sometimes look exactly like the victims. So it's very difficult sometimes for people to be able to separate the two, especially when they like that person. That's why R. Kelly can run amok for however many years he was around here running amok, sleeping around with allegedly with underage girls and all this kind of stuff. That's why that can happen. And they can have a whole tape of it and people still running around talking about, nope, that didn't happen. Those girls, like, no, they was all, it's just like simply because he's R. Kelly and he made great music. It can't be true because he's R. Kelly and he made great music. That's the nonsense that I'm talking about. People will believe a lie before they believe the truth. They have the truth presented in front of them. And I promise you right now, as I'm speaking on YouTube, there are thousands of videos out there on YouTube of people saying Cassie's lying, they all lying, and this, that, and the third. They have no. I listen. The world is missing a empathy meter that I just can't really understand why. Why are we so depleted of it? I do understand, but I'm not even gonna get into that on here. Let's see, what else did they say? That I pulled out and I was just like, yeah, this is not. They did not write this. Let's see. I do believe they wrote this. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted with horrific conspiracy theories. That part I believe. I believe that her children believe that part. I do think people should respect them and their privacy, but I don't know. I do wonder if people go to their social media and say horrific things like your dad's, a terrible person. And as much as a terrible person, I 100% believe Diddy is, I also believe 1,000% no person should go on those people's pages and shoot shots at them about things that their dad did or is alleged that he did. I think that's you really should never blame or point fingers at anyone really but the perpetrator, in my opinion. I'm not, when I say perpetrator, I mean even the people that that are the gatekeepers, right? All of the people in the industry that went to those white parties, and not all of them that went there participated, but I'm talking about the ones that went there participated and or were forced and coerced into certain things or drugged and whatever else happened. All of those people, the handlers that knew things were going down, that had to go clean up the rooms that they say in the law suit, those people, the police that were at the parties and knew shit was going on, and they sat by and watched just because they was getting money for it. Turn the other way, as long as my money is right, you know. And then people don't really. But here's the thing about life: people talk about karma a lot. All karma is balance. Sorry, I'm having ice cream while I'm talking on this YouTube here today, y'all. So work with me. But karma is just balance. So did he thought he was getting away? He's never gonna get away. He thought he was. I even think he thinks that he ain't gonna stay in jail. I don't know that he will stay in jail for the remainder of his life though. And here's why. Unless the Southern District of New York can find a way to attach Diddy to some of the deaths of the people that have been in his circle. There's lots to go watch. Make It Make Sense. I don't know if you guys watch Make It Make Sense. I love him. He's another content creator, but he really kind of, when I started watching him, he is kind of around the time that Cassie filed that lawsuit. And he's never really he's a straight shooter. That's what he calls us, the people that can be in the comments. He's a person that has integrity, in my opinion. He gets down with the get down and he's messy and all of that. Not messy in a hurtful way though. But he will talk about what's going on in the news and but he's just a real one, in my opinion. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so I'm talking more so about the people who they're okay to indulge as long as it's not them. As long as they still getting fed, they don't care, and it's very bizarre to me that Hollywood, somehow all of these people in the entertainment industry are on. It's like someone pushed a mute button, like a huge mute button. I don't hear nobody out there just really being like, this is a disgusting human being. Like the bloggers, yeah, people like me, yeah. But like A-list celebrities, how are you besties with Jay-Z and neither Jay-Z or Beyonce have said one word? And listen, I'm one person, but I haven't heard one word. So maybe they have said something and I just don't know about it, but I haven't heard anything. How? And I'm not in any way saying that just because you know someone, you know their deepest, darkest secrets. You don't. There are people who lived with people in their family that had unalived other people, and they knew those people, but they never knew that until they went to jail. There's some people you meet and you just like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised when they face pop up on the news, But I find it hard to believe that Jay-Z seems to be so intertwined with Jay-Z. I'm sorry, with Sean P. Diddy Combs. Shitty Diddy is what I call him. But he hasn't said one word. How is that possible? And don't get me wrong, I do think that loyalty, loyalty is one of those things that I I hold in high regard because I'm very loyal. So if someone made allegations against my husband or someone close to me, yeah, I know my husband, and I'm gonna stand 10 toes down with you. I'm a ride or die. However, if after they make these allegations, they come out with a video showing evidence of what my husband has sworn he never did, never participated in, that's impossible. He's not that type of person. These people just trying to discredit his character and malign him and this, that, and the third. And then 2 days later on CNN, I'm looking at visible proof. I'm gonna have something to say. I'm that girl. I'm gonna have something to say. Me and you are no longer friends. We are no longer anything. Actually, I'm gonna be campaigning for everybody to put your ass in jail. If someone made claims like that about a person I'm close with, and I'm riding or dying with them because I'm a Leo and I am a loyal to a fault. Once you in, you in. It's like the mob. Once you in, you in. I got your back. I'm that girl. But I'm not an idiot. And I can't believe that Sean, what is his last name? Carter. I can't believe that Sean Carter has worked in an industry with a man for 30 years and didn't see anything and didn't hear anything. I refuse to believe that. Like I said, if it don't add up, there's a lie somewhere. So I'm just like, why is Hollywood, all the celebrities, that was at the white party, why does everybody put themselves on mute, honey? Unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. But I do think they're all gonna get dragged out. The people that I think that there will be many people who people really never thought this would happen or could have even have this. Like, if I'm being honest, I used to watch Diddy. I think they was on I don't think he created the show Making the Man, but I remember that show Making the Man where he made them like walk across the New York or whatever that, I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge or something. And as a person sitting at home, it's very entertaining to watch that. It's just like, are you serious? Has he lost has he clearly don't have all his marbles. But I also understood this is for entertainment, right? They're doing all these things and these shenanigans for pure entertainment. So that's him for that. So my purview on him until the Cassidy lawsuit was he started at Bad Boy. He somehow quickly became AR or whatever they're called, and he started producing music. And he was, I guess, those people were like people that would go out and like scout for talent or whatever. And he went and somehow found Notorious B.I.G. But you know what really kind of made me believe that Diddy was a good guy, so to speak, is B.I.G.'s Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. His own words in an interview he said one time, he was like, I don't know if I was watching like Behind the Music or something like that back in the day. And he said, at the time he was like selling drugs when he met P. Diddy. Right. And then P. Diddy, this is what Biggie was saying at the time. He was like, my man Puff, he was like, look, if you gonna come over here and make this music, you can't be doing, you can't be in the streets and dealing with the dope and all that. So that made me think, that informed my opinion about Sean P. Diddy Combs, because I believed Biggie Smalls. I believed him. And I think, if I'm being honest, if I'm being 100% clear, I believed him because it was believable. If you're thinking that this person is over here trying to help you, you have talent and they're trying to help you get to the next level, and they're trying to help themselves be, a proven, person in terms of his ability to go find talent. Yeah, it's believable. It makes sense. It makes sense. And so I never heard any of all of these years. I never heard one thing. So, but I also wasn't on YouTube, and I also wasn't, the internet wasn't available back, when P. Diddy in the early 2000s in the way that it is now. So, so I had no reason, to believe. Yes, I would believe he was an asshole, no different than I believe, Donald Trump was an asshole when he was doing the Celebrity Apprentice. But again, I understood this is entertainment. Come to find out years later, no, he's truly a horrible human being. Same thing about Donald Trump. But I just wouldn't have ever thought that about Diddy. So it was initially shocking to me. I'm like, yo, the things that this lady is accusing him of in this lawsuit is pretty damning and graphic. And the one that the latest one, oh my God. Mims from Make It Make Sense. He has a YouTube channel. He's a content creator as well. But he was reading that lawsuit yesterday. I just was like, some of the stuff that was the amount, how graphic it was. I thought I had heard and seen it all. And let me be clear. Like I told you, I've worked in sex crimes and I've worked for child protective services, so I've seen a lot. I've seen people, do unimaginable things to their children. And I've seen people, unalive other people's children, not physically watch them, is what I'm saying, but know that that is what happens because I've handled those types of cases. So I know I know what type of evil exists in the world. I don't know all of it, but I definitely know what type of evil exists in the world. Because my thing is, if you can do that to a child with no problem, if you can do that to anybody with no problem, but especially a child, they're defenseless against you. They're powerless against you. That's a different type of evil. But the thing with Diddy, from reading what the lawsuits say, I'm just like, what? I don't understand your mindset. I just don't understand, where do you get that from? Yeah, they've been here. It's somebody upstairs working on the AC, but I'm on a live. Mhm. My husband just came in the room to let me know, y'all, that the AC people are upstairs. My house caught on fire about 3 weeks ago. Jesus woke me up in the middle of the night, y'all. I don't know if y'all know my little testimony, but my husband was across the pond in the Philippines, and child, I have been not feeling well and not been able to sleep from the pills that from the medication that I had to take because I wasn't, I had been sick. But anyways, I listen. I decided I discovered some seasoned French fries. Like, who makes some Checkers? I think is the name of it. Never been to that restaurant, and I had decided, listen, these French fries are everything, honey. And it was like 10:30 at night. I put the oil. I turned the oil on my stove. Turned my stove on. Went to go walk my dog. I had taken Ambien to Ambien, and you should never do that. By the way, in my opinion. I'm not a medical professional, so go talk to a doctor. Don't listen to, Chanel and Chanel's reality, but regarding that. But anyways, I went to sleep and then I heard beeping at in the middle of the night. Normally when I take an Ambien, when I have taken it in the past, half an Ambien had me out for 10 hours. So imagine taking two. I should not have woken up. I know that God saved my life. So that's my testimony. I listen. And because me and God was in a whole fight for 2 years because I had been really sick in and out of the hospital. It was really sick, and I won't go into all of it, but that's my testimony. So right now we're not even in our house. We're in a Airbnb. We've been over here for almost a month now. But anyways, back to reality over here with the diddler. Um I do for me, it was hard for me to believe initially. No, I wouldn't say it was hard for me to believe. It was shocking just because I didn't have, like, how you see certain celebrities. I'll use 50 Cent for example. I don't know how many of my viewers know who 50 Cent is, but he's a rapper from New York, and he is also, I think, making a documentary about Diddy. But um but so if someone filed a lawsuit against 50 Cent and they was like, he was aggressive towards me and he grabbed me and this, that, and the third. Now I don't know 50 Cent. I don't know him to do anything or be violent to others. Not that I know of. But someone did try to unalive him with, 9 shots, is all I'm gonna say. I think it was 9. And so it's not far-fetched when you have this career and you're talking about all these type of things, like being in situations where people do that to you or try to unalive you. So someone says that, oh, they came out and alleged that, 50 Cent beat me up or had his goons beat me up. I'm not saying 50 Cent is violent. I'm not saying he has goons. I'm saying it's much more believable initially versus a person like Diddy, who to me just always seemed lame. I only ever got lame from him. I only ever got imposter. I only ever got a person who needs attention. I feel like that's why he was in all the videos and he just wanted to be out front, I feel like. And so it wasn't I saw that part of it. And that's believable because that's his personality. I never thought he was a real one or nothing like that, but I wouldn't have ever expected that that man would have been doing what these people have alleged he's done to them in these lawsuits. I just would have never known that. I'm sorry, I would have never guessed it. But I know that we live in a savage world. It's an unfortunate reality that we live in. But I will close out by saying this. My heart does go out to the girls because like I said before, his daughter, what do you do with if Diddy is your father? And let me be clear. I'm not saying to the degree of the things that Diddy has been accused of, but he ain't the only one running around doing all kinds of savage BS to people in the way that Diddy did. Meaning, and what I mean by that is this is it's 24-hour news cycle here in America. And so I'm saying that what Diddy has done is a lot of people's reality in their own life. Maybe not to the extent of what he's being accused of, but there's plenty of people, listen, that have been, what's the word I can use? SA'd, AR'd, trafficked, and all of these other things that will never get the notoriety of a Cassie and someone, the world being able to see this person get taken down. They won't even get the support from their own family. I've seen that. I've worked with kids where their mom wouldn't even be protective. Their mom didn't even believe them. That I actually have a really close friend that she told me that, and we've been friends for a long time. But I remember when I met her mom, I couldn't really even look her in the eye. Because all I could think is, how the hell do you choose your boyfriend over your daughter? She didn't came and told you that what he did to her. I just that's I can't understand it. And thankfully, my friend is like different than me. And she was able to, like, she's one of those people, she just like she let it go and stuff like that. I can't listen. I'm not able, I'm not that. Listen, what Tamar Braxton say? I ain't Jesus. Okay. I ain't Jesus. No, but I wouldn't be able to do that. And so it took me a few years, because her daughter, one of her daughters is my goddaughter. So I was around a lot, but it took me years to kind of like not look at her mom in a way, you know. But the thing about these type of actions, the things that Diddy's been accused of, it's not new. Meaning this is happening to people all across this whole United States of America. That's why they have things like statutes of limitation. Why would you have a statute of limitations on victims of violence being able to come forward and say, I've been violated? They only have it for the most part to protect the perpetrators, because I want to know how exactly that helps the victims. It doesn't. It puts a time clock on what has happened to you. Someone savagely taking either your virginity or fondling you or doing whatever it is. Not all of it is savage, meaning it doesn't always it doesn't always go down like you see in the movies, where it's just like some man appears in the dark, and it doesn't always start out like that, or a lot of times it isn't like that at all. That's the grooming process, you know. But anyways, my point is, there's tons of people in your church, in your family, in your neighborhood, at your school, the mailman, the lady. It's a I can't say the word, but SA is extremely common. It's 1 in 4 women will experience it in their life. So count the women that's in the room with you, in the house with you, at your job, wherever it is you watching this. Count those women. One of y'all. And in my opinion, the statistic is actually higher, but they're basing that statistic on the people that actually come forward and say something. That's what they're basing that statistic on, and that's why I think it's much higher. Because I remember being in class. I'll share this one last story and then I gotta go. I remember being in class in college, and me and my friend were in class, and And it was an English summer class or whatever. And she had told us to go read something, whatever. You know how they do in English. They always want you to read something and write a paper. But anyway, when we got back to class, we started having this discussion, and out of nowhere, I don't remember exactly what we were discussing, but one of the young ladies in the class, one of my classmates, she started talking about how when she was younger, her grandfather, I believe, it was either her grandfather or her dad, was molesting her. And she was just like, I cannot tell my mom, because we were all obviously in there encouraging her. No, you have to let her know, that kind of thing. And she just was like, no, that would break her heart. I can't do that to her. I can't do that to her. And I understand. I do. But the thing that was very interesting, I have a point to my story. So person after person starts telling their story, right, about what happened to them, much like what's going on right now, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, they just trying to pile on, and some people lying, not everybody telling the truth, and this and the third. But I'm sitting here in class. It's a whole study group, really, if you want to call it that. But person after person, woman after woman in that class with me, everybody have been essayed by someone. And it's usually people you know. It's very and highly unlikely it's someone you don't know. It's usually someone you know. But me and one of my friends were in that class, and we both know each other's history. So both of us have been as well. And the sad part was I was sitting in the class, and she and I went to lunch after that. And we both were kind of like, it's crazy. Cause we looking at each other like, oh, we gonna share a story? You know what I'm saying? We looking at each other like, how you kind of feel in the moment, like, you could share or you could relate or you understand. But we also both were professionals already in our job when we were in this class. But I remember after that, we went to eat and we were talking about it, because the sad part is, because we didn't share our stories, everybody didn't know. 100% of the women in that room, 100% of the women in that room had all been essayed, meaning all of us. The only reason they didn't know it is because me and my friend didn't share anything. But 100% of us. And that's another reason why I say I think it's a higher number, because lots of people will never come forward, because because of the shame. Oh, it was my brother that did it to me, or my father that did it to me, or my mom's brother that did it to me. You know what I'm saying? Or, that teacher, that coach, that whomever. And I also think it's an extremely high number for boys, or men, but I think it's almost, I hate to say it this way, but this is just my thought process with how people view that type of crime or violation. When it relates to boys, I think, I personally think, I don't have no evidence on this, but I personally think that boys don't come forward a lot of times too, simply because they're boys, people will assign gay to them. They will assign, especially in our community. I hate this because I don't know our whole community. Obviously, I'm a brown person, but I don't know all brown people. So I don't like to speak in absolutes, but I think that a lot of times they don't come forward because they don't want to be seen as weak, because people associate a man, especially a Black man, or, whatever, a successful man, with being strong, right? So if they associate gay with being weak, even you didn't do anything, someone violated you, you can't really say anything, because now somebody, they have an end. And that's the saddest part to me about how our society readily and immediately can't wait to ask the victim 10,000 questions about why she didn't come forward. Why did she wait 10 years? Why didn't she tell somebody? Why didn't she do? Why is she coming out now? Why did she stay? Why didn't she? It's like, even after they showed that video on CNN of Cassie running away, people still was like, she never tried to get away. She didn't have to stay with him for 10 years. Like, it's just, are you kidding me? Let's be clear. For those who may be watching this later or whatever the case may be, essaying someone, violating people in that way, it's never about sex. It's only about power and control. You can get sex from anyone, right? If you work your, if you're a man and that's your goal, you can go get it. We have a planet full of sexual beings. So you can go get it from somewhere, that somebody is out there willing and able to give it to you. You having to take it is about power and control. And if anybody watching this later or now or whatever, if someone has taken your power and violated you, get it out of there in the open if you want to. It is your story to tell. It is your healing. It is your journey. Because this is the problem with the perpetrators outside of them violating you, is they then want to intimidate you. They don't want to be found out. That's why Diddy posting, enough is enough. You don't want to be found out. He doesn't want to look like a monster. Why do you need to say that if you like what you're doing? They like the power and the control that they have. They do. And the people that'll say, oh no, they're lying, or she fast, or she always wearing some what do they call it? Some, tight clothes or this, that, and the other. And it's like, knock it off. I don't care if I was doing cartwheels down in the middle of the street, butt ass naked. You don't have the right to touch me or violate me. You don't. You don't have a right to violate me. And especially an underage person, they can't give consent. Especially a child. I will never understand. I heard this as a kid. Grown people would say things like, don't sit on that man's lap. Why do you need to tell a 5-year-old not to sit on a man's lap? Think about that. Think about that for a second. Think about that for all of the people who are going to watch this video and say, Cassie participated and Cassie enjoyed it and she wanted the lifestyle and this, that, and the third. Why do we need to tell little girls not to sit on some boy's lap or some grown man's lap? Why? We don't say that when have you ever in your life heard another person say to a little girl, don't sit on that grown woman's lap? You've never heard it. Not ever. Because women have a collective unconscious. We all do. We have a collective unconsciousness. It's the same reason why, and y'all can put it in the chat, let me know. I ain't never heard of no daycare ran by only men. Have y'all? Not ever. And if there was one, who is signing a child up? Nobody. Because we understand as a collective that shit is not safe. It just is what it is. Because if it was safe, listen, opening up a daycare is very profitable. It's very profitable, right? Everybody has kids. That's what we do when we grow up. We have a family, right? Most people have kids. I shouldn't say everybody, right? We all know a kid and we know what daycares are. Why aren't there any only male daycares? There is none. And even if you go to a daycare right now, if there's a male there, he's probably a maintenance man. I promise you. That's highly likely. Even they won't even let a man be an accountant. I ain't never seen it. Maybe it exists somewhere that, listen, I'm just one person here on YouTube. Maybe it exists somewhere. But ask yourselves, why is that? Why? You would never drop off your 3-year-old, your 7-year-old, your 6-year-old at a daycare full of men. That would never happen. Ask yourself why. I know that's true. And so do you. Because we have a problem, and it's not just in America, it's a worldwide problem. We have toxic conditioning that tells women and victims that they need to shut the hell up. If they didn't say anything before, shut the hell up. It's why you have a statute of limitations. I don't want you shouldn't be allowed to come and ruin this man's life now that he has kids and a family to provide for. Remember Kavanaugh? He was running for not running, but that's when Donald Trump was I think his last year in presidency, and Kavanaugh, he wanted Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme justice on the Supreme Court. And then that lady who was a whole doctor said, listen, that man attacked me when I was, a teenager. He's not who you think he is. They attacked this lady within an inch of her life. Right? Because they couldn't say what they always say, which is she fast, she's uneducated, she's a hoe anyway, she sleeps around. All of the things that they say about the victims, right? All of these things to make it okay for the perpetrator to continue to perpetrate. I'm just saying, stop me when I'm lying about something. I'm just telling you what the facts are here on Chanel's reality. It just is what it is. They a statute of limitation for that type of crime, there it all it does is limit the victims. That is the it protects the perpetrator and limits the victims. Why and how does that make sense? Why would you make a law that says that? Especially when you know this shit is going on. It has been going on for centuries. Why do you think they have something called child bride? It's just if we want to have an honest conversation, that's why. Why do you think people were marrying off little girls at 12 years old and shit? Like that's who was attracted to a 12-year-old girl? What is she like? I cannot. I can't. Awesomely grateful. Oh, I have some people in the chat. Awesomely grateful says the children should have remained silent. They don't know all of the dealings of their parents. The statement will not change public opinion. Or maybe this is their final and only PR statement. I agree with you. That's what I was saying earlier. I 100% agree with you because whenever I was reading it, like I said before, I don't know these people. I don't know Diddy. I don't know their children. My heart goes out to them though, to all of them, with the exception of the ones that are being accused right now of SH. So, but anyways, especially the girls, I feel really bad for them because you're in between a rock and a hard place. They are, to me, in the worst possible position that you could put a person in, especially a young person. And the reason I say that is because your mom is gone. She died under mysterious circumstances. And the guy that she procreated with, Mr. Diddy, he has so many people that are no longer alive around him till it's just like I lost count. It's just a lot of suspect people coming up unalive from mysterious illnesses when they're not even ill. But anyways, but I was reading this and it reads to me like a lawyer wrote this. Like they had a conversation with some of the children, but it reads to me exactly like a lawyer wrote this based on some of the conversations that they had with the children. This to me feels like Diddy's attorney said, you guys, we need, because they started out with the lawyer, right? Saying, oh, well, you know, he making excuses for Diddy, talking about that lady stole his property. And that's why he came out in the hallway and did that to her. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what you did. And then you drug her back in the room. Who does that? Who comes out? Who is a billionaire allegedly and has all this money and access to everything? Anything he wants, you're chasing someone down the hallway? No, you have that lady captive. And even though she was free, for the people who are in the chat saying that she participated and all this kind of stuff, how do you participate in something that you have not given you have not said, I want to do this. You're not in agreement with it. She was held hostage. And you know, people listen, you can believe whatever you want. This is a free world, believe whatever you want. But I encourage you, the people that still want to blame the victim and say she stayed and she could have left, that type of commentary. If this was your daughter, who's Cassie's what, probably 30 something. I don't know how old she is, but let's just say she's 30 something. She's a 30-year-old grown woman who I believe suffered through all of this. But let's say she's your 30-year-old daughter. And she comes to you and she says, hey, listen, this man, he presents himself one way, but this is what I've really been going through. And if I'm being honest, I'm not a parent, but my guess is parents in general kind of know their kids. That's my guess, especially the ones that love them and are active participants in their life, right? So if you would want your child to receive the same terrible, horrific, ignorant comments like she stayed and she participated and she wanted the life and she was chasing clout and this, that, and the third, after reading that lawsuit, then if you would want people to attack her within an inch of her life, your daughter, if that was your daughter, then keep on with the, craziness. Keep protecting and having 1,000 questions for the perpetrator, but not, for the victim, but you want to wait and see for the perpetrator. That's to me, that's the first thing people who want to protect perpetrators will say. When they have no argument, right? Because all of the argument was, we don't know if she could be lying on that man. She just mad at him because he didn't let her career pop off, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the reasons are that people just, for whatever reason, believe that women are just too stupid and worthless and ignorant, that all we can seem to do is with our lives is wait for a man to give us some money. Like, knock it all the way the fuck off. If that might be your reality, but I promise you that's not Chanel's reality. Not at all. And I have a man at home, quote unquote. I have a whole ass man. Okay. So been married for almost 20 years. So miss me with that. She's not lonely, but she's also educated. I have 3 college degrees. Listen, I'm a whole therapist. I am the American dream as far as I'm a whole black girl magic working around over here. But even with all of that, I'm humble enough to say, I'm going to listen and give a person a chance before we, attack this person within an inch of her life about something that you have no proof that she's lying about. None. And those same people who are, mad at Cassie, she should be in jail too. I heard people say that. As soon as they saw that video, that still didn't deter those people. Those people still standing 10 toes down. She could have left if she wanted to. But again, ask yourself, your daughter is Cassie, 32. I don't know how old Cassie is, but let's say she's 32 years old. This has been her experience, and she's your daughter, and you believe her. Is this the way you've attacked her? Is this the way you want your daughter to be attacked? Is this the way you would want to be attacked? It's the exact reason why victims stay silent. It's this let's attack the victim mentality. I can take care of my own. I don't need anybody, man or woman, to make sure Chanel's okay. I'm always going to be okay. She always going to be okay. Always. Believe that. But anyway, I just think that there are a whole bunch of people that are so ignorant, and it's like people don't really see it until it shows up on their front, till it shows up on their front door. Then they want people to have compassion. Then they can kind of understand it. Why does it take it to happen to you for you to be able to believe it's possible that it could have happened to someone else? Just because it doesn't add up in your world don't mean it don't add up. But also people, you know what I found too over the years? The people who attack victims the most when the victim is a female are other females. That's my opinion. That's what I've experienced. It's like the ones that attack them the most is other women. Sorry if y'all hear the banging upstairs. I don't know what them people doing up there. They know if they're doing something. But yeah, it's other women. It's just like, really? And especially I will say in my community, because I'm a whole brown lady over here in Chanel's reality. But this idea that this man cannot be wrong. We can't send him to jail because he's a black billionaire. He's successful. So therefore, we have to excuse all of his atrocities. If you don't knock it all the way the fuck off with that dumbass, I cannot. That enrages me. That lets me know people that think like that has zero range. This isn't about that man's color, and it ain't about his gender. It's not about none of that. It's about his criminal behavior. It's about his criminal, savage behavior. It is about his complete disregard for other people's welfare. It's about the manipulation of other people. It's about holding it, because even if we take Cassie out of it, it's about withholding people's musical rights until you know some stuff is about to pop off. Now, suddenly, the year that she sues you, now all of a sudden you want to give all your people their rights back. I don't see how people don't see the setup. And so I have people on here in the comments saying, did he have her chained in a basement? So again, you have to be able to have a range. Eating beaver probably is a what do you call those people? Troll. Did he have her chained in the basement? I don't know. Were you there, Mr. Beaver or Mrs. Beaver? If you weren't there, why are you asking that question if he had her chained up in the basement? Did you read the lawsuit? is my question. Go read the lawsuit and answer that question for yourself. But here's the thing. If you're still out there listening to my video and want to, play battle of the wits with me, I welcome it, but you're not going to win. I promise you won't. But let's just take what you're saying. There were how many people enslaved in this country? Brown people enslaved in this country, right? Millions of them, correct? Okay, got it. Would you say, Mr. Eaton Beaver or Mrs. Eaton Beaver, that all of those millions of people stayed enslaved, were all chained in the basement? They weren't, right? Okay, because the history books that I read and the facts that I read said that they were not chained in the basement. So if it's so easy to get away from the person who's violating you, who's forcing you to work for free for your whole entire life, if it was so easy for Cassie to get away, why couldn't all of our ancestors just, get away? Why couldn't they? Yeah, they was in chains when they got here, but for 400 years, they wasn't always chained. It becomes your reality. Understand, like I said before, it's sex. I'm gonna say it like this. SA is never about sex. It's about power and control. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Once someone has the mind, the body will follow. I promise you. That's all it takes. And if you're 19 and you haven't experienced being in a relationship with a whole 30-plus-year-old man, I don't even know how old he was when he started dating her. If you don't have that experience and you maybe don't have someone around you to tell you any different, then you might, when you're trauma bonding and all that kind of stuff. But let's be clear, manipulators, people who go around and SA people, they're manipulators. A lot of times they're narcissists. They don't believe anything's wrong. They believe you wrong. They will take what they've done wrong to you and then tell you, how dare you get mad at me for doing you wrong. Like, that's how people work in terms of narcissism. I know this because I'm a therapist and I have to read something called the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which has all of these, different mental disorders. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not somebody just talking out the side of my mouth. I'm talking about real life. I've worked with these type of perpetrators and their victims my whole entire professional life. So I don't have to make anything up. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that I know everything. I obviously don't. But one thing I do know is about victims and perpetrators and how it works. Once I get your mind, and then I isolate you because if you notice a lot of people that end up in abusive type relationships like that, they go from being able to talk to their parents and friends and whomever else to that person that wants to get them isolated. They're always sitting there in earshot. They want to hear everything you say. They want to hear everything your mom, your dad say, people that care about you, your bestie and whomever else, your sister, your brother, whomever. They want to hear all those conversations. They want to make sure you're not asking for help. But if we're going to keep it a book, what about all the women that grow up in the hood? Or I'll say victims that grow up with not a penny to their name, because I really wish we would dismiss this whole idea that she had to be there for clout, and everybody that is saying that they survived abuse from a wealthy person stayed because of money. Because if that's the case, explain to me why all of the broke people in the ghetto that are with hard-headed, narcissistic assholes, why are they not leaving? They have an opportunity to leave too, right? Why are they staying? Tell me why they staying. It ain't no money in it for them. Ain't no clout in it for them. It ain't no celebrity in it for them. Why are they staying? Because it's not about that. It's about power and control. And people who don't have range can't even fathom that to be a situation. They can't fathom it being true because they have succumbed to the toxic conditioning that happens in our world, especially to women. It's about power and control. That's what it is. Someone else wrote something. Let's see. Austin Lee Grateful says Cassie was being drugged. She got away, but the trauma may linger. It's 100%. I tell people all the time. You can't tell somebody they need to move on. It's their trauma. Stop it. People get triggered every day. Everybody has trauma. Everybody. Cassie took several pipes willingly, and now she want to say, "Hey, I don't know what that means." It's a, oh, I guess this person is trying to say that she was having sex or whatever, and now, ma'am or sir, how do you know that? Were you there? How do you know it was willingly? You don't. And then awesomely grateful said the man is a financial and sexual predator. 100%. 100%. I agree with that. Awesomely grateful says the law supported physical slavery and promoted mental bondage. Exactly. That's the point that I was making about the person that wants to say, well, was she chained to a basement? You don't have to be chained to a basement. Like I said, were the people that were enslaved in this country for 400 years chained? No. Maybe the first 80 years, maybe. But the next generation, what chains do we need? We don't need any chains, because their parents have told them, in order for you, listen, I need to I need to secure your survival. And in order to do that, Mr. and his mama and his daddy and his sister and his children and whomever else tell you what to do, that's what you better do. So once, like I said, they have that power and control over you, it doesn't matter where your physical body is. And from what the lawsuits say, go read the lawsuits this person has in my comments that clearly doesn't believe that Cassie is a victim in any sort of way. If you don't believe it, go read the lawsuits. Go read the lawsuits. But how many years of those chains have been broken? And with Diddy in his situation, he has all kinds, apparently, allegedly, he has all kinds of money and people that he can pay off to harass you, follow you, tap your phone, tap your this, that, and the third, put video cameras in your house. Like, where was she going to get away to? But I will say this, the one thing I don't understand, and I would like to know, is at some point, I don't know what that point was, but at some point, she did get away. Meaning she has another life and a husband and kids now, I believe. So I would like to know, when did that happen? How was she able to do that successfully without the fear of whatever he might do? That's the only thing that I've ever wondered about with regard to her story, because I believe everything she said. I do not. At this point, anybody that says anything about Diddy, I believe them. I mean, because there's just, it's believable at this point. And also too, because Hollywood and the whole music industry suddenly is on mute. So none of y'all that been to this part, nobody have anything to say. Nobody has anything to say, not even against the victim. And usually you would hear that. Usually you would hear, because remember when this first dropped, when Kathy first dropped her lawsuit, when it first happened, it was all kinds of people in his comments and online saying, no, he wouldn't do that, and da-da-da-da-da, all kinds of celebrities. That shit came to a complete halt for the most part. For reasonable, intelligent people, it came to a complete halt. Except for, I think, people like Stevie J was still out there supporting him or something. But after that videotape came out on CNN, they was like, we can't protect this man. We got money to be made. Because let's be clear, I also don't think the people that are sitting in silence right now, the people that's on mute in the entertainment industry, and especially in the music industry, they're all sitting on mute, acting like they ain't never heard and they never saw nothing and whatever else. This is my opinion about that, because I don't know this. I don't know these people. I wasn't there. But my opinion is more of them than less of them are doing so to protect themselves. It has absolutely nothing to do with it has not, in my opinion, it doesn't have anything to do with them being able to say something. They're making a decision to not say anything, in my opinion. And it isn't about them looking good or bad or whatever. They don't want anyone on their timeline, because the moment they say something, either side is going to be in their timeline, in their comments, telling them whatever it is. And they don't want that. Even if they say the right thing, they know that they're going to get eaten up by people who are trolls, or honestly, people who just don't have the range, the education, or the knowledge. But my thing is this, I don't have a problem with ignorance. There's ignorance in every person about something, right? I've never lived in China. I'm ignorant to whatever is going on in China to some extent. Why? Because I ain't never met nobody from there. I don't live there. I've never been to that country. So I am ignorant to a lot of their customs and whatnot, right? I have a limited amount of information about China, or pick a country that I ain't never been to, right? So I'm not going to stand 10 toes down about what is Chinese culture, and I'm ignorant to what it is. Like, even if I met 30 people, there's still how many billions of people in China, So I still, even if I know 100 people, even if I had the capacity to know 1,000 Chinese people, whatever it is, I still, even that 1,000, I still don't know Chinese culture. I know those 1,000 people and their experiences as a Chinese person, right? So I can't begin to say I know about everything about anybody. But for some reason in our culture, if you are rich and powerful and you sing or dance, or you're an actor or something, whatever it is, people have a very hard time with compartmentalizing and separating the person that they grew up listening to on the radio or watching on TV or whatever it is. That, they played basketball and that was their hero, whatever. They have a very difficult time separating that this person is still human, regardless of the fact that they can, throw a ball really well, or they were an Olympian, or they were the president, or they were your favorite movie star, whatever it is. They have a very difficult time. They do. They have a very, very difficult time. I remember having a difficult time with Michael Jackson. I was just like, I remember being young and a teenager, and he was being accused of whatever he was being accused of. And I was just kind of like, same ignorant statements, but I'm smart enough now and I have enough education now as an adult to know something's wrong here. And at the end of the day, what did Cat Williams say? And if you feel, those that feel a way about it know why they feel a way about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I agree with him. Because once I grew up and I started working in a certain, field of study, which is with, social work and other people like that, it opened up my eyes. But even without all of that, I had to ask myself, if I had a child, would I send my child to go hang out with Michael Jackson? And he's been accused of these things? Absolutely not. Because you know why I know I wouldn't? I wouldn't send my child to go to my cousin's house, my auntie's house, my next door neighbor's house, whomever it is. If this person has been accused of essaying other people, I'm just not sending you over there. But I'm not sending my child to no grown man's house, period. Like I said earlier, we have a collective unconscious as women. We just do. We have a collective unconscious. And to me, that collective unconscious says, it dictates why we don't have any male only daycares. If y'all know someone, put them in the chat. I ain't never seen a daycare ran by only men. I've never seen it. Yeah, you could say you have boarding schools, but those are different than daycares. Because at a boarding school, you at least have enough to where you can talk. At a daycare, them kids are not even school age yet, typically. They don't know what's going on. So if we don't have this collective unconscious about what men, unfortunately, a lot of them are capable of doing, why aren't we comfortable with leaving our children, our little 3-year-old girls and 4-year-old girls or 7-year-olds or whatever it is? Why aren't we comfortable with leaving them inside of a daycare center with nothing but men? And I want to be very clear. I'm not here to say all men, because I don't speak in absolutes like that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying we have to, just be real about it. At the end of the day, I don't know a woman or even a man, a husband that would do that would drop off their 3-year-old or their 6-year-old at the daycare, and it's only men working there. It just seems wrong. And it seems wrong because there's a reason why we feel a way about it. There's a reason why there's tons of money to be made in daycares. But the only people I ever see running them are women. And it isn't just because women are so nurturing and loving. It isn't. It's because men have a bad track record with regard to sexual deviancy with others. It's just a fact. It just is what it is. But anywho, thanks. Awesomely grateful. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm signing off too, because I don't know what these people are in here doing at in the, what am I in? The Airbnb, child. And I gotta go shopping. Oh shoot, I was supposed to go to Macy's. My friend is having a 40th birthday. I gotta go get something from Macy's anyway. And I gotta go to the Saks Fifth Avenue. But again, thank you guys for participating, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. If you like the content that you're hearing here today, if you could hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. That's a free and easy way to, be supportive of my channel. Also hit the notification button if you want to get notified when I go live again or when I upload a video or things like that. But until next time, you guys go out there, have a great, great day. Love on the people that love you, and everybody else is everybody else. Just be kind to the people you know. Have a good one. Bye, guys.